Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. This is the Apex Online Racing iRacing GTE League Season 6, round number 4, here at the Suzuka International Circuit in Japan. My name is King-Kodiak and I'll be one of your commentators throughout this evening's race. Joining me in the commentary box, always happy to say, the lord of iRacing himself, it is StevieSQ.
Hello everybody and welcome again to another installment of this brilliant series. 50-car grid at this incredibly challenging little circuit. Drivers love it, spectators love it, we love it. It's had a little break from the calendar. It wasn't here last season, but it's here today. A little bit of housekeeping to do. We obviously, for those astute viewers, which obviously all of you are, there was no stream last week. Unfortunately, there were a few issues, but we are back. Last week's race was at Silverstone, and Chris Holstein won that from Jason Dyer and Dominic Gaidemeyer. Also, for tonight, we have a couple of qualifying bands, so do not expect to see Flavian Foku and Asger Hebsgaard on track for misdemeanors at said Silverstone race.
Before we have a look at who we've got on track, let's have a quick look at our championship standings. Our AM standings look like so. Sebastian Riethmüller. Also, we couldn't have done this any earlier than really tonight because the class applications weren't done before last week. As Steve said, there wasn't a stream last week. So now we're going to go over our standings as we currently look at them. So Sebastian Riethmüller leads the way quite comfortably over Karen Van Eyck. In second, then it is Matthias Hitchcock, Smiths, Cooper, Kamke, Legall, Lindholt and Martins in our AM category. The Pro-Ams, though, much closer. 5 drivers, all within the same 10 points, all within 90, over 90 points. So there's De Bruycek just leads away from Guy Lou. Then is Blom, Housen, Andrew Langham Service, Sluman, Martinson, McCracken, Guyard and Imre. And our overall standings look like so. So Dan Sasulski leading the way, but again by a narrow margin over Mike Sheppers. Oops! And that is actually Dan Sasulski we're looking at in the background there, throwing his BMW off the road. Nicely done, well demonstrated. Then Sheppers, Thielen, Wieler, Holstein, Gaidemeyer, Dyer, Parkinson, Marinsky and Klima rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, just to point out, there is no exclusive Pro Championship this season. We used to have one last season, but we scrapped it, thinking that the pros are obviously always going to be at the top of the overall standings as well. If we get a pro champion that isn't overall champion, something's gone horribly wrong. So we've
technically possible.
It is technically possible, but we've decided to just be away with it and just they're all in it together for the pro.
I don't think it's ever happened, though, has it?
No, not in this format. I don't know if it's happened in other championships, but here, no. Every time has been won by a pro driver once we've, when we've been running this system.
Right. Oh, excuse me. I'm trying to speak and choke at the same time.
I would prefer you did one or the other.
I would certainly abandon doing the former.
Correct. Good idea.
So we are quarter of the way through our qualifying session, 14 and a bit minutes to go. As you can see, there's 23 drivers, well, you can see 20 of them on the overlay. We have a bit of a new overlay format going on. We're giving this a try, giving the 3-letter abbreviation, so the first initial and the first 2 letters of the surname. So at the top we have Nathan Parkinson, then there's Dominic Gaidemeyer, Dan Sasulski, and that's a name I don't immediately recognise, Michael Delaval, although we have we spoken about Mr. Delaval before?
Yes, he made his debut in Monza, and I think had an incident very early on, so we didn't see too much of him.
I thought I recognised the name, but he's currently unclassified. That's why the number is grey. You can see the classifications in the colouring. The pink is would have been our pro category.
I mean, they're still pros. They are still pros,
oh, yes.
But they just don't get their own special championship.
There we go. So the pros in pink, the pro-ams in green, and the ams in blue. That is how our colouring goes along. So let's see who else we have. We have Jason Dyer with us for RSR Pink in car number 131. Jordan Housen is our current lead pro-am in that lovely angry Ferrari. There it is. Look at that face. I remember.
Only a face a mother could love.
Well, it scared that BMW out of the way.
It did.
Phil Reed, our favourite AOR he-made driver, in the pink livery, well, purple liveried and pink colour classification. They're going very slowly, aren't they, coming through the decks?
I think they're just trying to all get a bit of space. There's been a bit of a discussion on the forum about people on the outlap protocol of not overtaking each other. Or things like that. Obviously, the thing is, sometimes it's difficult because there's certainly an advantage, and I've said this before with these tyres. They have a lot of peak grip, so you see, like Phil Reed, he's taking it steady on his outlap. He doesn't want to ruin his tyres on the outlap. Other drivers just want to get on it and just go for it. So it's just a difference of mentality for some of them. But they all know what they're doing, so hopefully it won't cause too much problem with some of them going slow. They'll get out of the way if someone comes along.
Now that's a name I definitely don't recognise. Richard Fletcher, a privateer entrant in car number 915, currently in 16th position in the Ferrari. So welcome to you, sir. I'm looking through the list, see who else I don't recognise. Always want to give a bit of a shout out to any new entrants that come into our leagues. We're always welcoming new names and, of course, returning names. There's another one, Daniel Page, in the privateer entrant Porsche, car number 944. Now, this man I am going to enjoy talking about. It is Jaroslav Honzik. Now, I have commentated on Jardier, as he's otherwise known, in the Project Cars 2 GT3 League several times, and also outside of AOR. I have commentated on this man. Oh, that was Jordan Hounson's distinctive Ferrari facing the wall. So I'm going to be very intrigued to see how Mr. Honzik does in that M8.
Yeah, he's what, 3-time AOR GT3 champion?
On the bounce.
Yeah, so we know he's very, very good on Project Cars. And from what we saw in practice, he's incredibly quick here as well. But it makes total sense. Speed transfers over systems. It's just getting used to the little nuances and little gimmicks of certain platforms. So I expect him to do well.
Yes. He was well within the top 10 during the practice session because of this. Quite a few people have not got a time on the board yet. Most of the names that are in the session are names familiar to the session, so I won't go through all of them, plus it will be very difficult for me to do so in the next 10 minutes with any great detail. And plus, you know me, I will sprint through all the names anyway when we go through the qualifying. So we will get through everybody as best we can. There's a returning name, Jared Caroni. He's in our Pro category. Wow, that M8 looked very squirrely.
And I just want to point out, Nathan Parkinson, who we've seen do well previously, just jumped up to pole.
He did, and 3,000.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say, he's been up there at the front, but we've not seen him at the very, very, very front. I know we saw him battling with Chris Holstein back in Monza, so to see him up that far up the front, I'm impressed.
Ooh, I can't wait for this one. I can't wait for any of them. I love commentating on this league. I love commentating, we all know this, but I do have a bit of a soft spot for the GTEs. I love this league. There's so many people to talk about, and I can't go through all of them. I never can, but it certainly provides a chance. The racing we see from this particular group of drivers has been absolutely unreal.
Yeah, and and as we've seen before, it's just incredibly competitive. I think we saw it the first round of the season, Road America, or second round. We had 27 or 29 cars covered by a second. Yeah. The whole field covered by 2.5.
Well, the top 15 are covered by just over a second. Down to Daniel Lindholt is our last time on the board. That's 3.5 seconds, and that's 39 drivers. And it's not a short lap here. It's nearly 2 minutes in length. 1:53.988 is our top time by Mr. Parkinson. So it's not a short lap by any stretch.
No.
There was someone parking on the side of the road. And because there's so many drivers, we've had these drivers do encounter the finding space issue quite a few times where, through not really any fault of anybody, it's just so many of them. But I mean, it's slightly less of an issue here because the lap is longer. However, it's difficult to sort of keep the tyres warm in a, you know, in a way that is quite effective because the track is really twisty. It's not like you've got long, wide spaces that you can, long, wide straights rather, that you can weave and weave and weave and weave. You weave in a corner and you're off.
Yeah, it's. But I mean, I remember saying this the last time we were here. This is an incredibly tough track.
Oh, yes.
It is what I think people refer to as an old school track. It punishes mistakes immediately. You
Yes.
don't get much forgiveness if you make a mistake. You know, there's barriers everywhere. There's gravel. That's a thing that exists here.
Yes.
And
there's
the
a lot
walls
of
are
it
not
there.
too.
We're just
Yeah.
watching Delaval come around turn 1.
But yeah, turns 1 and 2 are incredibly tricky to get the car turned in and slow down because you're coming from very high speed. These cars don't have ABS, so it's all on the driver to modulate that and not lock up, because if you do, you'll fly off the road. And I will give you the heads up, this, certainly for the viewers, I'm sure they'll be glad to know this. We do not have a full formation lap here. They will grid just before 1:30R. So, just so you're aware, we need to make sure we've got through the whole grid before that, because you won't get time.
Understood. So I really do have to sprint through it.
But yeah, this is a great track, and I'm interested to see how people tackle it. It can be quite difficult to overtake on, just because it is like the whole first sector up through the S-curves. It's single file. If you manage to get side by side, it's just not going to be side by side for long. You're not going to want to go side by side through the Degners because someone's going to die.
I think that was Sarah Dove. We just saw parked on the infield there at the hairpin.
Yeah, I think she's just trying to get out of the way.
Get out of the way, yeah. Oh, that was a strange camera change there. I was on the chopper cameras and jumped to Ronnie Gibbons, and it kind of flew through a fence. As he's about to start the lap, let's ride on board with the BMW. Let's have a bit of a hot lap then on board the Geodesic Racing Black Car 228 as we come into the first turn. Goes to the apex nicely. You have to avoid someone coming out the pit lane there. Little reluctant to get the nose of the car into the second part. Oh, into turn 2 rather. Now into the S-curves, turns 3 through to 7. It's got to keep it so set. Look how far over Ronnie's having to turn. I have heard this is a bit of an understeer central, this track, particularly with the BMW, so the Beamer drivers may struggle a little bit with that. Through Dunlop Curve, then through the long turn 7, then we're going to come into the Degners. There is one. Down a gear just as he cancels the apex, then going to be down another one as he goes over the apex of Degner 2. We saw the Formula 3s, I think it was, really struggle with that particular section. These the GTE should handle this quite a bit more comfortably. Rise the apex over turn 11 at the hairpin then. Flat out through the long right, sweeping right hander on turn 12. I think that's Sarah Ford getting out of the way. Nicely done. And then into Spoon, the double apex left-hander 13 and 14. Don't wander too wide. It's really tempting to put the gas on too much in between the two apexes, and that'll just spit you out into that next gravel trap area. Then hard on the gas down towards 130R. Now how much speed is he going to scrub off through here? Is he brave enough to try it flat? Oh, a little bit of a lift. But you saw how much space the BMW needed to do that one correctly. Down through the gears, then into the Casio triangle to complete the lap. Hard on the gas. And where does that put him? Currently 13th with a 154.891, and that was actually slower than that by a couple of tenths. It was a 155, so no improvement from Mr. Gibbons.
No, it was an okay lap, but he's clearly done better. Yeah, a couple of points just to point out about where these cars should struggle and where they'll do well. They'll be alright through most of this. And like you said, the F3s struggled a lot with the two Degners. Certainly that inside curve of Degner 1 is mean, and you're still not going to want to rush it and squash it, because whilst you can go over it, it will elbow you towards the edge of the track. And if you get a wobble on, you'll be off into the gravel, and then you don't slow down very much, and there is a wall not too far ahead. So they shouldn't have too many issues with that. The hairpin will become more of an issue the longer the race goes on. Once the tyres start wearing down, it's going to get harder and harder to rotate the car through that corner. Spoon's always a challenge. Like you said, it's very, very easy to light it up, drop the rears, and around you go. Coming out the exit as you run up towards 130R. 130R will be a little lift, maybe very flat in qualifying trim, and with the perfect line, but I suspect most people won't. You can easily pick up an off track on that exit curb if you're too far wide. And then I would say the Casio triangle as well. It's that right-hander on the exit. It can get a little looser through there. So it's not an easy lap here. And as we know from last season, or the season before, last season, and whatever it was, the pit entrance is dangerous here.
Yes, that would be the Formula 3 leagues that generated one of my favourite moments in commentating. It would be, well, you know the moment to which I refer.
It was when Evan Imre made a bit of a fool of himself.
I'm sorry, Evan, but that is going to take some living down. You're going backwards into the pit. But he did well, actually. When I watched that back the other day, he did really well not to just plough into the wall. In fairness,
and to his credit, he wasn't the only one that did it.
True.
Charlie Summers did it the week later, I think, or at some point the F3.5 turned up.
Yes.
He did it at even higher speed. So yeah, that final corner, it's very easy to drop it out of. Pit lane entry here is not too bad, actually. The exit's very quick, though, and you rejoin right onto the racing line going into turn 1.
And then Zandvoort pit lane claiming race leader.
Yeah.
Oh dear, that would definitely. Oh wow, that's a great livery on that Porsche behind. Who is that?
Oops. Gatormare there, just having a bit of a wobble, and he's abandoned that lap through Spoon.
Oh, Williamson's got Boy Williamson's got a great livery on his car. Just over 30 seconds left then. Parkinson still leads Gatormare by 0.003 of a second. Dan Sasulski is out there in the M8. Klima 4, Delaval 5. Jason Dyer in 6th position just has 0.007 of a second to find to climb another position. If he found 3.5 tenths, he'd be on pole. So once again, a very, very tight field. It's now down to 18th before you get outside of a second from the pole time. So absolutely amazing. Phil Reed is still out there in the AOR Hime Ferrari. He's just about to complete his lap. Let's see how he's done.
Oh,
go on.
Mr. Holstein has not managed to set a lap time yet.
I know, I noticed that.
Nor has Mike Sheppers.
Well,
Christoph is also on a lap right now. He's going up to 130R. Both of them have got 8 incidents in this session alone. The incident limit for the race is 20. They don't have an incident limit in practice qualifying, but they do accumulate them. So I suspect they've both been plagued by off-tracks. But this matters. They need to get laps in, or they're going to be very far at the back.
And there's a lot of people in this race. I think I counted 49. So they do not want to be starting last. Let's see what Mr. Holstein has got on the board this time. Oh, it's not valid.
Third.
Third. Oh, well, I thought that wasn't valid for a moment. It was taking a long time for me to...
and Mike jumped up to 12 only for Mike Sheppers, second in the championship.
Well, Mike Sheppers, not what he wanted at all. Who's still out there? Ronnie Gibbons is still going for the Geodesic squad. Where is he? That's Spoon. He's coming through. Who else is still running? Jason Dyer. For RSR, he's for RSR Pink, he's still running. Phil Reed, oops, that, oh my goodness. Who was that? Sarah Dove that was buried in the wall. What on earth has happened there? You've been there a while, it would seem. It looks like she was in lag when that happened, but she's had a big problem down there at Spoon. So that is something she's going to definitely want to keep an eye on, trying to resolve. There is Jason Dyer still running with Phil Reed heading down to the Casio Triangle. 8th currently, 1:54.397. For car 117. Does he improve? Let us see. Over the line, and it takes a little while to get the update. And no, he will not improve with that one. An invalid lap. Jason Dyer is coming down to the same stretch. What about
if he gets a hundredth of a second, he gets 2 spaces.
Yes, indeed. 7,000 will get 1 spot. And does Jason Dyer improve? Answer is... I'm assuming not, because we didn't get an update there. So no improvement for Jason Dyer. Michael Dreschler, he won't complete the lap because he's only got 20 seconds to get back. Oh, that's a name I didn't recognise. Paulo Martins. You definitely won't finish from there. You're in the S's and you've got 10 seconds to get home. What a livery on that one for Phoenix Motorsport. Car number 399. I like that. I like that one. And that is qualifying done. Time for me to sprint through the names.
You got 2 minutes. Go.
Right. It is Parkinson, Gadamer, Holstein, Suzuki, Klima, Delaval, Dyer, Howson, Reed, Caroni, Vida, Sheppers, Gilu, Blom, Honzik, Dressler, Gibbons, Page, Dove, Sluman, Service, Godefroy. Don't know who that is in 23rd because it's blank on my screen. Martinson, Fletcher, De Bruytek, State, Cooper, Gaillard, White, Furtos, Williamson, Zelenika, Riethmuller, Moraine, McCracken, Hitchcock, Smith, Towns, Washington, Yardley, Martins, Kamke, Lindholt, Hoppe, Hebsgaard, Miles, Foku, and Bell. Wow.
Well done.
Thank you.
It took 40 seconds. The blank name is Evan Imre. He's blank for me as well.
Now that happens on my screen if somebody joined the session late. So he's the only blank one, so I'll be able to remember that.
So just to point out, your pro pole or your pro am pole, sorry, is Jordan Housen, who's 9th overall.
What a cracker!
Which is not 8th overall. Sorry, 4/10 off pole, and then your am pole is all the way down in 28th place, 1.4 seconds off pole. And when you put it like that, it doesn't sound really justified to be 28.
Who was that?
Merlin Cooper, sorry. Did I not say his name? I don't think I did.
Merlin Cooper. I can't tell which car is his, actually, from that camera shot. I need to go to the chopper one, really. There he is, in the Porsche. He had a distinctive livery last time. Was it Merlin? It was Merlin that was running the Red Bull livery Porsche last time. I seem to recall. Someone else has got.
He used to, yes.
Yes, someone else has got a Red Bull BMW, I think, this time.
That's Jawad Karoni.
Jawad Karoni, who is midfield somewhere, I think.
Yes.
Well, they're not. They're still in the gridding up phase. The
Jawad qualified 10th.
Okie dokie. Yaroslav Honzik was actually quite some way down the field, I noted when I was reading them out, but now the safety car has got them underway. So once everybody has filtered through the field, we'll be able to pick up our pole sitter. There is Christoph Holstein in the Comrade Gaming Ferrari. Dominic Gadamer again has out-qualified him by a huge margin of about 0.003 of a second. Oh wow, Dominic's wanting to get on with it. Look, he's nosing ahead of the BMW. Oh, that's I can hear impact behind them.
No, they've got very clumsy towards the back.
Oh dear, but we are underway then. The guys up front did not want to hang around. Dominic Gadamer's had a catastrophic start as Holstein's already nailed him coming through into turn 1. Here they come. Who is going to be brave on the brakes? Who's going to be sensible about it? Of course, now is when everybody is going to filter into position. We did hear a little bit of clunking around, but Nathan Parkinson holds on to the lead in that Geodesa BMW. He absolutely gunned it as soon as he came out of the Casio Triangle. Didn't want to leave it too long, and he's given himself about 7/10 over Christoph Holstein at the moment. Then it is Klima up into 4th position, down to 5. There is Delaval in 6th position, Jason Dyer 7, Phil Reed in 8th position, he's up 1. There is Hausen in the Angry Ferrari, still leading the Pro-Am category. As everybody now filtering through. Who's had anyone had any major incidents that you've spotted?
Not that I'm seeing. It's currently looking alright from what I've seen. I think everyone's made it through. Oh, that's not so good. There's been an incident at Degner. It's Asger Hebsgaard and Paolo Martins. Look like they've had a little incident at Degner 1, but they both have carried on.
I can't replay it because I wasn't getting any data for them, unfortunately. Oh, jumping up to the lead, though. That's Parkinson has been reeled back in by Holstein. And then, as you'd imagine, that long train right behind them. Everyone following in single file. Now, is this going to be a race of punch and counterpunch, or is this going to be a race of strategy? This is what I'm curious to see. I think this is going to be more a case... Oh, wow, Gaidemeyer, that's a long way off. As Claudio Klima said, thank you very much. I'll have that spot.
Klima's gone wide, going into Casio Triangle. Gaidemeyer's going to capitalise.
Something's happened to Mike Shepherd's. Come here, I'm trying to get his name. He keeps moving. Come here! Something horrible's happened to Mike Shepherd. He's fallen badly through the field. Trying to get his name. And nope, the replay does not want to give me what happened, but he's had some kind of major incident and fallen badly through the field.
He's disconnected.
Oh, that was
as well. So he's not. He's. I'll tell you what he did. He dropped it through 130R. There's a little bit of AstroTurf beyond that curb, and he immediately stacked it in the wall, and has, I think,
oh, problem! That's Phil Reed and Jason Dyer that's come together. Oh, there goes Housen as well. Oh my goodness, there's lots of things going on. Andrew Langham's service is involved in there as well. I think there's Evan Imre trying to make his way through the field. Oh wow, that was just side by side, several corners. And unfortunately, Phil Reed's come back in 9th, but Jason Dyer is now down into 15th following that incident. So there may be a few words said about that one post-race.
Yeah, Jason's got a bit of damage on the rear left now. That's not going to help him at all. He's going to... Oh, who's that? Oh, it looks like Jardier's had a bit of a wobble. Oh, he's got damage as well on the rear.
Oh dear. Jaroslav Honzik, what's happened to him? Oops. Yeah, he just tried to brake on the grass, but... Yeah, that the tail of that BMW has been rearranged, and you do not want to be carrying damage for a significant period of time here. Well, you don't really want to be doing it anywhere, but here I would imagine it's a little bit more crucial to have a stable car underneath you. But look at our top two. They are breaking away from Claudio Klima. I mean, there's been a lot of jostling going on, but there's already 1.2 between Klima and Holstein. Holstein keeping Parkinson true and honest at the moment. Then Dalivor is at the back of that train with Klima, Gaidemeyer, Sasolski and himself. Then there's 2.6 to Kevin Gilou, who's got a lot of company. He's in 7th, and he's got all the way down, well, goodness me, down to the 20s or so. Down to 23rd, Alexander Godefroy in this particular train.
Yeah, there's a big old group of cars going on. Oh, Andrew Langham's service has come into the pits.
Oh dear.
I suspect that's either going to be for a penalty of some sort. Evan Imre is in as well. I do wonder whether there was people that were given penalties by the kind of messed up start that we got.
Yes, we did hear a few impacts, didn't we? So could well be that yeah, they're having to come in early, but also some people wanted to get out of this very condensed traffic. So it could be tactical, but you know, like you say, it is quite likely to be you know, penalty driven. Why they've pitted so early.
It's either to be penalty or to fix damage. Andrew Langham's service is back out.
It didn't look like Andrew Langham's service had a lot of damage, but it's not always easy to tell.
No,
You've got a better eye for it than I do.
I can't see through him in the pit stop, but I suspect that's what it was. It was very quick. Jordan Housen has called it a day. He has left the session.
Oh dear. Not a happy boy.
No.
Oh dear. Well, a few casualties early on, but we still have plenty of people to be looking at. Still keeping an eye on Christoph Holstein and how close he is to the tail of Nathan Parkinson. I suspect that battle is going to be good for a while. Klima has closed into under a second off the back of the Comrade Gaming Ferrari. He brings with him the Comrade Gaming Ford of Dominic Gaidemeyer with Dan Sasolski minding his own business at the back of that pack. I reckon Dan's probably going to sit there and wait for people to fall off the road.
There's also the it was something I was going to tell you about off stream, but it works as well as a point, so I can say it on stream. Do you remember back in Monza, I said something about if Dan was leading, like because he was just building the slipstream, I would lift and coast to save fuel.
Yes,
he was doing that.
Really? Oh, yeah. Good lord!
I spoke to him not long after the race, or I watched him. Watched his stream afterwards, and I saw him lifting and coasting, so he realised what they were doing and got straight into it.
Nice.
He was not going to be the one that lost out in that.
Phil Reed has just made a move on Carlos Vida for 7th position.
Yeah, Phil's wounded car seems to not be hampering him too much.
Oh yeah, he's got there's a bit of a dent on the rear left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that'll be with that collision with. It didn't look like it was a heavy knock with himself and it was Dyer. It was Jason Dyer.
Yeah.
Look, it was a big impact, but it'll be enough to upset the balance. But he's still pressing on.
Absolutely. And looks like he's got the pace as well to get back into that top group if he can. Because that's where he's going to want to be. That's where his pro rivals are going. All 5 of them covered by 2.4 seconds.
Wow. Also worth noting, Kevin Gilou in 6th position is our lead pro-am. Started in 13th position overall. He's one of the top. Oh, someone's flown off into the wall. It's Phil Reed.
Oh, it's Phil Reed.
Oh, he's taking people with him. What has happened here? It looks like he was braking on the grass. Oh dear. Oh, a couple of BMWs were involved in that. Oh dear, oh dear. That looked a little bit messy. Oh, and that is Dominic Gaidemeyer having a spin. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to get hold of this one because I think he was in lag when it happened. Oh, no. I just managed to get hold of a bit of it. The tail let go coming through 130R. Oh, dear.
That's not where you want the tail to let go.
Well, I don't think you ever want to let go. I think Jaroslav Honzik's been involved in something else as well, as he is minding his own business there in 14th. But jumping up to our lead pack, then that's rather shaking things up here. As Gaidemeyer looks like he's continuing. I think he's coming to the pits after that. What was quite a significant bang against the wall. There's now a 3-way fight. The podium 3 all quite close together. Nathan Parkinson leading the way in the geodesic BMW. Actually 2 geodesic cars in that top 3. Parkinson leading the way in the geodesic racing black car 155. Then it is the Comrade Gaming of Ferrari of Christoph Holstein. And then it is the geodesic racing echelon Ferrari of Claudio Klima. Dan Sasolski probably is going to close into the back of that top 3, but may not necessarily push too hard at this stage. The tactical racing coming in at this point for the Bushwing Racing Pink number 148 BMW. Then it is Kevin Gilou now up to 5th position with Dominic Gaidemeyer falling off the road. Look at that, he's 2 seconds clear of Carlos Vila. So that's pretty darn impressive. He's actually on leader's pace at the moment, so that is impressive stuff. Again, as mentioned, we're in the kind of tactical part of the race, and no one is probably pushing too hard to work their way through the field. But yeah, well, you never know. Certainly, Phil Reed was. Michael Dressler, who, speaking of Michael Dressler and Michael Dallavall side by side. Porsche on the outside of Dressler is trying to fend off the BMW, and right behind is I can never get this right. A Merrick Blom. Whoa, that was close between himself and the Ford of Dominic Gaidemeyer. The return. Oh, he's not happy about that. Big flash of the lights there from a Merrick Blom. As Dallavall and Dressler swap round. Didn't quite see that. I'm just going to replay that because side by side into the Casio triangle. Let's come back slightly further than that because we did see these 2 side by side coming into 130R. And big and bold on the brakes from the BMW. Nicely, that was a lot of P's there that I didn't actually mean to do. Nicely done there by Dallavall. There's me saying we're in the tactical phase of the race, and people are, getting on with it, trying to make the passes. I can imagine why Gaidemeyer is, because he wants to get back up to that lead pack that he's fallen out of. But still plenty of people kind of following suit. Here's a train that Ronnie Gibbons currently leads with Daniel Page, newcomer to the league, doing pretty well. Started 18th, now up to 12th. Sarah Dove in the AOR Hime Ford. And then it is Jaroslav Honzik with that wounded BMW is trying to kind of get back into the rhythm of it. It's a bit of a shame that he hasn't had the kind of pace we saw in practice, but that is the nature of the beast. Then it is Jason Dyer after the look at that damage on the back of that car. That's going to be holding him up. Look at the train behind him. That's Richard Fletcher in the green Ferrari, privateer 915 entry, with Adam Stake directly behind. Marvin Sluman in the you got this and I didn't last time. It's Karabakos.
Hey, there you go.
The Dutchman going for, fending off, I should say, Krista Boychek. who started 26th, is up to 19th. Oh, that BMW getting very close, with Godefroy Martinson rounding out the train.
Yeah, and I was going to point out earlier, the AM lead right now is Merlin Cooper. And when I was going to point him out, he had a bit of an issue. He's got a little bit of damage on the rear wing of that car now because Philippe Gaillard lost it through Spoon and didn't spin, but had a drift that bounced off Merlin Cooper. So Merlin, whilst leading that AM class, is got a little bit of damage.
There's a lovely Castrol-coloured Ford right behind. That is Marcus Alanica in 27th position. Nicely done. Do like that one. Unfortunately, when I'm looking at people this far down the field, it upsets my numbers a little bit. It's sending my overlay completely crackers. I'll jump up to the top. That should sort itself out. There we go. So a lot of racing to do. Go on.
Just to update as well, Boy Williamson, Phil Reed and Paulo Martins have all left the session.
Oh dear. So after that big incident that Phil had, he is no longer with us. What a shame. Was Boy Williamson? Boy Williamson wasn't one of the BMWs he caught, was it? Or was it?
I don't think so. No, the Red Bull BMW was Jared Coroni.
Oh no.
Yeah, we've also got Stefan Kamke just coming into the pits. Looks to have repairs being done. Evan is back out there after his little issues with a bit of damage on the front right.
Where is Mr. Imre?
He's a ways down.
Yes, unfortunately so. Down there in 39th position, but back up and running again. There's that reshapen front right corner. Oh dear, but long way to go. Anything can happen. Oh, speaking of, look how close Holstein is. Really in the tyre tracks of the BMW. He either backed off or, well, he could have backed off. He's still on 0 incidents, actually. Or he didn't fancy trying to make a move into the Katia triangle. Now, Christoph is most certainly the sort of person, the wise head that would try, to pick his movement correctly, not just dive for any opportunity he gets. But equally, he will put the pressure on when he needs to. So he is really keeping his Ferrari as big as he possibly can in the mirrors of Nathan Parkinson.
Yeah, he's we've seen it before from Chris Holstein. He's a double AOR GTE champ. He knows how to win races and he knows how to win championship. He's got 2 cars behind him, and I don't think he's, unless he thinks that Nathan is holding him up, I don't think he's going to be too pressed to make the move this early on, whilst those 2 are too close to capitalise if it all goes wrong.
There's the spinner. It's Krista Boychak. Oh dear, what's happened to you?
Oh, I thought turn 1 claimed a victim.
Yes. Oh, how did he not claim anybody else? Oh, that was very close. Very well driven, actually, by everybody around there, but that could have got rather nasty. Didn't claim anybody else. I happened to jump down to that part of the grid and happened to see a sideways BMW.
And just in the background of that, oh my god, behind that, it's all kicking off. Merlin Cooper defending from a pretty big train of cars behind him. A lot of VEC cars behind him as well.
There's a lot of
at least 4. A lot of Porsches as well, yeah. And he's the wounded one. He's the lead AM, but he is wounded. And Gonzaga Futas is certainly looking like he wants to make that move sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. It's one of these. I always think that a big pack of Porsches sounds like a swarm of angry bees.
Oh, who is that? Josh White has just had a bit of a moment through Spoon. That's Christopher Wojcik's now got a victim in front of him rather than a group behind him.
Oh, there goes, speaking of, there goes the Wojcik in the BMW. Trying an inside move on the Ferrari. He's surely going to have that done when he comes through 130R.
Yeah.
There he goes. Unless he overcooks it. I think he came off the gas a little bit. He didn't fancy flying off the road. But a few people that need to kind of keep an eye on their incident limit, bearing in mind we're only, not even 20 minutes in, and Merrick Blom is already on 13 incidents, along with Dominic Gaidemeyer. So
and if you're on par with Dominic Gaidemeyer, it's not going well for you. Oh! Who was that?
Daniel Page.
Yeah, right in front of Sarah Dove and Jaroslav Hosnik and Jason Dyer.
that was clenching. That was incredibly close. The only reason I knew it was Daniel Page is I could see his name plummeting through the list. But whoa, that was a little bit close. Yeah,
I would say as well, up front, it looks like Nathan Parkinson has built a little bit of a gap now from Chris Holstein. He's nearly out. He nearly got Chris out of slipstream range.
Yeah, very true.
It'll make Chris a little bit more vulnerable to those behind him if he does.
Now, I wouldn't be at all surprised if Klima decided if he felt like he had a shot at Christoph Holstein, then he would, if he goes for it, he would make a Geodesic Racing 1-2. Okay, not quite for the same squad within Geodesic Racing, but it would be more meaningful for that squad if Klima did make that move. And he certainly knows how to get it done. And Dan Sosowski has indeed closed in on the back of that pack, and that small lead that Parkinson had seems to have evaporated because they're all almost equidistant, all about half a second between each other now.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that we saw in Monza the ultimate draft fest track. Klima was fighting to get up front.
Yeah, he's right there now. Look at that. There's actually a gap between Klima and Holstein, so I wonder if Holstein's mindful of that. Did
you see that?
I was on the blimp cam, so I don't know what that you're referring to.
Nathan Parkinson went defensive into turn 1.
Because I mean, Holstein did close him in pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't think Holstein's too interested in sitting behind here.
And you can understand that with Klima, of course, as mentioned, he's part of the Alpine Geodesic squad as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Holstein did put the pressure on, but if he was going to do that, surely he'd have done it by now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you'd think so. Just watching a replay of Saradov went a little wide at turn 1, lost a position to Yaroslav and to Jason. That's cost her a bit. One mistake cost her 2 positions.
And that's Adam State in the 234 BMW right behind. Oh, nearly pushing her through the Degners. Yeah,
taking a lot of that curb though in the process.
I reckon, and again, this is pure guesswork, but this is only really based on the fact that Holstein is stuck between those two. I don't say he's stuck. He's not like he couldn't get out of that position. I think if he wanted to attack Parkinson, he could. I think he will start to attack if Klima becomes a distinct threat. I think Sosowski's not interested whatsoever in doing anything right now. But if Holstein can put the pressure on Parkinson and force him into a mistake, I think then Holstein's likely to take off. But until then, I think he's waiting for something to happen. Either Klima to get into an attacking position and then he'll defend like a nutter, or for Parkinson to fall off the road.
Well, he's close now, and he's going to easily have a run here if he wants it, I think. See what happens.
Nope.
No, he backed out of it. He backed out of it that time.
That's what he's doing. He's waiting for Parkinson to fall off the road. But if Klima starts to really put the pressure on Holstein, I think Holstein will then strike at Parkinson.
Yeah. We do have a driver that is our Pro-Am lead, who is kind of on his own at the minute. In 5th place, it's Kevin Guillou. He's got 4 seconds pretty much ahead of him and 4 seconds behind him. Is the one driver that's got some clear space. We've also...
One of the few. I was trying to click on Imeric Blom's name there as it was falling through the field to find out what happened. He's in the pits, so
he is indeed in the pits. That cashes us out a lot.
Yes. Okay, Demay's now on 14 incident points, but you calm down, Dominic.
Yeah, just to reference, just to put that into context, they get 20 for a race. And Dominic is nearly at 75% of used of those, and it's only been 20 minutes.
We have an hour to do.
And we do indeed. There are battles up and down the field. Carlos Vila is under increasing pressure from Michael Delaval, Michael Dreschler, Dominic Gaidemeyer. Who else we've got? We've got a 3-way train with Yaroslav Hodznik, Jason Darren, Sarah Dove, Adam State, Richard Fletcher. That's more than 3 cars. Marvin Sluman, Daniel Page, Alexander Godfrey, Kenny Martinson, all within that battle, or about 11th, down to 19th.
That's a hell of a train. We look on the nose of Kenny Martinson. He's in 19th. So he's technically the back of the train. Look at that lot. And again, if somebody had a big incident and took a few with him, he'd be in quite a points-paying position there. But At the moment, people just minding their own business. Canute, actually, that's very surprising. Oh, go on.
The lead.
Oh, there he goes. Yeah, exactly. Klima was going for Holstein. You saw Klima was in the tyre tracks of Holstein then. Oh, that was close. That was very close between Holstein and Parkinson. And that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. You saw Klima following Holstein in his tyre tracks, and then Holstein went for Parkinson. So is Klima now going to start to pile the pressure on?
Oh, and Nathan did make a mistake. He made a bit of a mistake at the Casio Triangle, which gave Holstein the sniff he needed.
Is Holstein pressing on like a nutter to keep up with Parkinson, I wonder? Or is there a little bit in reserve? I mean,
I don't think there's anything in reserve for these guys.
You think they're absolutely flat out?
I think so.
Well, you know these cars better than I do.
I mean, I'll sit a lap on board with Nathan Parkinson and see what I think he's doing, and come back to you on that. But from what I'm seeing, I think they're going. I mean, I don't think you would make a mistake if you were cruising. Not Parkinson make. Go on.
Onzik and Dyer very, very close together. That is for 11th. So Yaroslava's been minding his own business, now back in his rhythm. He's now back up into 11th place. What I was mentioning about the incident limit, the one most famed for having a low incident count, Canute Martin's on 10. So he's had quite a torrid run through the field at the moment. So you can't ignore that. Has he quite a few people on 10 or more? Carlos Vila, Michael Dolival, Dominic Gadimer, as we know, Ronnie Gibbons, Jason Dyer, Sarah Dove, Marvin Sluman, Canute Martinson, who further down? Philippe Gaillard, Krista Broychek in real good trouble. He's on 15.
I don't think that Nathan is dawdling.
You think he's absolutely pressing on?
I think he's going as quick as he can. He's only running about 6/10 off his best lap, which tyres, fuel, you know, that's not unreasonable. I don't think he's hanging around, and I don't think those follow him are either.
We have lost a driver already to the incident limit. Oh, it's actually, I say already, it was a while ago. It was Jarek Karoni.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Joe I think he was caught up in a few incidents before that one with Phil Reed as well, and that might have just been that one just enough to knock him over the edge.
Look, that is not a happy looking tail of the BMW of Jonas Pontic, as we are looking from the nose of Jason Dyer. Still minding their own business, but if they're pressing on as hard as they can, that then makes, when they do make a mistake, that much more kind of dramatic. Turn 1 seems to be the hot spot at the moment. That's where quite a few errors have happened.
Yeah, we've also got Carlos Vila under a lot of pressure now from Michael Delaval. Wide a little bit from Carlos through turn 1. Turn 1, what am I on about? Turn spoon. Turn 1, where'd I get that from? He's going defensive, I think, going up towards 130R. No, he's not. No, Michael doesn't want to make that move there.
No. He did look like he was going to go for that defensive move, but opted not to. What's happened to Gadamer?
What has happened to Gadamer?
We've lost him. Oh no, we have.
No, is that
big lag moment for him?
Richard Fletcher's under being. Oh! That was a moment through 130R with Daniel Page.
Yeah, Daniel Page in the orange Porsche. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he got. That's a shame. He got 1 for that. He got 1 on the incident count for that. Old Dressler and Gadamer swap position coming into turn 1. Cut away from the replay slightly too early there. There we go. Forward slipstream of the Porsche. There he goes. Dives on the inside. Dressler knew that one was done. Didn't fancy turning into the door of the Ford. And back up into 8th position is Dominic Gadamer. But look at that. Just absolutely nothing that Parkinson can do can shake off the tail of Christoph Holstein. What Parkinson needs is Klima to get involved. But then if they are that flat out, Klima may just have nothing left to attack with.
That's what I think. I think the only one that probably is... I mean, here's what makes me also think that they're not cruising. Dan Suzuka is... I don't want to say struggling to keep up, but he's not looked like he's trying to press the attack. And like at the minute, he's dropped out of that slipstream range. That's not what we see usually from the championship leader.
No.
And I will say, I watched some of the Silverstone race through various people's Twitch streams. And Dan did not have a particularly strong event at Silverstone. I think he only finished 6th or 7th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He just did not have the pace of the top guys at all. And it looks like he's fallen out of that group now. So now we're going to see if they're pushing, because Dan's going to want to get back on their terms.
Yeah. Now, 6th or 7th in a field of 50 is still pretty good, but when you've got to bear in mind that Suzuka is leading the overall championship by a long way, or comparatively long way, that starts to put it in perspective where we're used to seeing Dan Suzuka appear.
Yes.
So, being 6th or 7th is not a good result for him. It's going to be interesting. And I've just spotted, there's Kevin Gillou. There's someone in between him. Is that Evan Imran?
It looks like it. Yeah.
I thought that BMW in the background was Kevin Gillou, and it's actually Evan Imran. I was like, my God, he's closed in quick. But no, that's top 3 so close again. So there's Evan's BMW there. And he must have just come out of the pits behind this lot because they haven't just passed him. But now they're going to start getting traffic. So that's De Bruyck that's then ahead of them. That could really throw the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, generally they've been pretty good with blue flags of lapped cars getting out of the way. Obviously, there's only so much they could do in certain parts of the track. Like in the S, it's not easy to get out of the way at all. Likewise through the Degners. And we have taken, it's something that's been discussed not too recently in the forums. We've taken a bit more of a laid-back view this season. It's within 1.5 seconds. The lapped car should be thinking about a way of getting out of the way rather than you must immediately slow down when they're within that 1.5 second. Klima, though, there was very wide over the exit curb at 130R. So I certainly think they're pushing.
Okie dokie. We'll see how long they can push at this rate for. So there's our top 4 again. So Suzuka has closed in again, and their lap times. And that's another thing that I love about this league is they are flat out. You know, BMW, Ferrari, BMW, different teams. You can imagine there's an element of, you know, driver setup, certainly driver style differences, and their lap times are so close together. The one that was actually the quickest of the bunch was actually Nathan Parkinson by a whole 2/10. Not even. Barely even.
We've still got battles going down the field. Marvin Sluman there was defending pretty hard going down into turn 1 from Daniel Page. I was just going to give a quick recap on how things look in class-wise. Kevin Gillou is still running 5th overall. Really nice job for the Pro-Am lead. His second next Pro-Am guy is Ronnie Gibbons, all the way down in 10th place. So that's a bit of a gap. The Pro-Am lead is Gonzaga Furto in 20th overall, with a 2-second gap back to Merlin Cooper.
Now, Merlin was leading the way, but with that damage on the back of his Porsche, he's going to struggle to remain there. There was Riethmuller directly behind with Asger Hebsgaard. And bearing in mind that Asger Hebsgaard, as you can see there with the pink flash, is actually one of our pro drivers, but had to start from near the tail of the field due to a qualifying ban, so that hasn't helped his progress through the field. Andrew Langham's service, that's got horribly wrong for him.
Yeah, I'll check with a couple of the drivers. I think there was some... The issue at the start, I think, probably caused some people to get some penalties that they didn't really deserve. Unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do about them.
Sadly not. I mean, it puts the driver in a position where they shouldn't be, which is not something the stewards can correct. So there's absolutely nothing that can be done. Oh, Honzik has got some company in the form of Jason Dyer and Ronnie Gibbons. So I think Dyer was behind Honzik last time I looked at him. So they RSR Ferrari has gotten past the OVCR Team Charlie BMW. It looks like Dyer is going to have a crack at Gibbons at this rate. He's not going to try an outside manoeuvre around turn 1, no. He's better at that one, but that's, of course, going to keep Yaroslav in that particular mixture the more they fight. But it does look like Dyer's wanting to get on with it. He doesn't want to stay in that train for longer than he currently is.
Yeah, it's probably not worth Gibbons fighting this too hard. Jason, at least, is not in his class. I mean, you'll get overall points, which counts towards the team's championship, but with over half race distance still to go, he's just going to cost himself a lot of time if he fights with Jason too much longer.
Michael Dollar-Vault still on the back of Carlos Vida. He's been there for most of the race. The VEC Sim Racing Rouge BMW, car number 965. Still. Oh, go on.
Yaroslav tried to go around the outside of Jason there at the hairpin.
Wow. That's brave.
Jason had to look on the inside on Gibbons, and then Yaroslav was all right. I don't know whether he outbraked himself. But it certainly looked like he was like, oh, okay, I'll try the outside line.
I think
it didn't work, but he tried it.
Yeah, I think he's probably just trying to keep... Not that you need to make the BMW appear wider than it actually is. It is a big old beast, as we mentioned. I think he's just kind of trying to keep the pressure on. Or is this an opportunity for Dyer then to get past Gibbons? Gibbons going very defensive, coming up to 130R, and Dyer trying to stay in his tyre tracks. Yaroslav just with a great ringside seat for the battle ahead. Whoa, Gibbons gets twitchy. Coming through 130R. Go on.
Can I cut you off and quickly cut to Knut Martinsen? I think he's trying to try it on the outside. No. I was going to mention this earlier. Knut Martinsen has an annoying habit, and I say annoying because it's happened to me, of going round the outside of people at 130R on this racetrack.
Wow.
And he's done it in everything. He's done it in GTEs, he's done it in the Formula Round 2Ps, and I think he did it in the F3s. So I'm keeping an eye out for it.
Wow, that's brave.
But yeah, sorry to cut you off from the battle you're on, but I saw it brewing and I was like, we should get this on camera.
What's happened to Holstein? Something has happened up front.
Oh, he has.
Oh, he wandered off the road at turn 1. He just outbraked himself and through went Klima.
Yeah. Oh, look at the gap that Nathan had at that when that happened.
That was
wow. Nathan then with a 1.5 second lead now.
Over, not quite his teammate, but as near as damn it. And that's thrown Holstein right into the clutches of Dan Sasulski.
Yeah. We've got some fights on now.
Yeah.
We've got the fight up front. We've got Gibbons on with 2 cars behind him. Yaroslav now ahead of Jason Dyer.
Yeah, I was just about to say, let's see if we can pick up where that happened. Probably not. They probably weren't in. No, I wasn't getting data for them. It seems so. Can't comment on that. Now it's going to. Now that has completely changed the dynamic of that. Of that lead battle.
I'll tell you.
Go on.
I think I know what it was. I think I know why Jason is behind Yaroslav. I think Jason's had enough of trying to get past Ronnie.
All right.
He pretty much let him go down the pit straight like you have a go.
That's looking back from Ronnie Gibbons. It does look like it. Oh, block up from Gibbons. Let's actually watch that from the external shot because we were watching from the gearbox. And oh, wow, the tail just completely was going to let go, but unfortunately Yaroslav couldn't capitalise on that. You saw he had to put the brakes on.
Yaroslav's now going to try and go around the outside, going to turn 1. No, he's not going to do it. Oh, very close, very close. Ronnie is not letting them through at all. And they... Go on.
I thought Jason was going to have a look on the inside of Honzik then, but decided not to commit to the move. Then behind, you've got Adam State. That could well get... Oh, that's close. Gibbons and Honzik very, very, very close. Weaving their way through the S's. Now into Dunlop. I don't think this train's going to last too much longer. I think something's going to happen very soon.
It's certainly looking now, isn't it? We've got a scrap like hell not too far behind as well with Knut Martin, Richard Fletcher and Alexander Godefroy. They were scrapping like hell a couple of laps ago. And I think Knut managed to get the position on Richard Fletcher in turn 1. But they were very close coming up through the S's.
Daniel Page is close on the tail of Marvin Sluman. There's that battle for 14th position at the moment. And interestingly, that pack up front is condensing again.
Yeah, and Yaroslav's got side by side with Ronnie going into Spoon. This is going to be very brave if he can go on the outside here.
Oh, Jason Dyer couldn't. The tail let go of the RSR Ferrari. Will well driven by both of them, still side by side. Who's going to have the greater drive? As there's Adam State and his BMW in the background, and that is Honzik up in the 10th, but he's going to have the outside for 130R. Can Ronnie Gibbons hold on? No, he slots in behind. That was brilliantly driven by the pair of them.
Yeah, so a debut for Yaroslav in this league, and that's a statement of intent. I'm here. Hello.
Multiple Project Cars GT3 champion, as really showing what he's made of there with that kind of move. That was absolutely epic. But that went horribly wrong for Jason Dyer, who's brought his car in. Let's go back to where it kind of undid itself. No, we need to go back further than that, I think. Oh, there it is. So, come on, camera, catch up with me. No, it's not.
That was a strange one.
Yeah, the tail just let go. Oh, there we go. That's the only bit of... Oh, wow. He kept it out of the gravel, though. I'll give him that. But up front, keeping an eye on where Parkinson lies with his fellow geodesic racing Ferrari. It's less than a second, so that pack is a little bit more condensed, but it is broadly holding station at the moment. But we saw how easy it is to make that one mistake that cost you so much time. So we'll see if that happens again.
Absolutely. It's all bunching up. I'm impressed to see Klima get that gap back down, to be honest, because Nathan had a good advantage up front, and he's slowly but surely Klima is bringing it down.
Yeah, absolutely. And Holstein just minding his own business, just staying in the tyre tracks of the Ferrari ahead. Sosowski's got a great ringside seat for what's going on. Oh, Delaval and Carlos Vida still very, very close together for 6th position, where they've been all race long. Moving the way through the Cassia Triangle. And that is not Kevin Gillou that is the next car down the road. I'm not sure who that is, actually. That is... Wait, that is... No, that's not the safety car. That is Gaillard that is facing people coming past him.
Yeah, unfortunately, lapped cars, it does happen. Oh, look at the gap that Yaroslav's got on Ronnie. Has Ronnie made a mistake now?
He must have done, because he's gone. And there goes Adam State, having a look on the inside of Gibbons. Doesn't commit to the move for the Mayella HCR Corsa team. Doesn't make the move into the turn 1, but yeah, Ronnie Gibbons must have made a mistake somewhere. Oh, Daniel Page and Marvin Sleeman still very, very close together.
Oh, I'll tell you what he did. He got a huge dollop of oversteer coming out of the second deck nut. Which caused him to have to do some opposite lock corrections, and it's not slow. It's not quick to do that.
Turning left into a right-hander is not the ideal way of taking the Degners.
It does look cool. Not quick.
That's true. Oh, Godefroy is very close to the back of that distinctive green Ferrari of Richard Fletcher. As they're coming through the Degners themselves.
Yeah, Alexander Godefroy, we know, 2-time reigning Pro-Am champion, and he is currently... Oh, I shouldn't have started this sentence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th in class at the minute.
Yeah.
And he's a long way off class lead as well, so we'll see how that plays out.
Sosowski is staying very close to Holstein. Easy lining up for a move.
I think he'll need to be a little bit closer than that coming out of that final corner.
Holstein's not an easy fish to deal with, is Mr. Holstein, so he's going to have to try harder than that, but we're starting to get towards...
Well,
actually, we're just over halfway. I was not quite as far through the race as I thought, honestly.
Oh,
22 to 42. Well, that lap counter can change. As a reminder, it's a timed race, not a lap count race. So we may lose a lap or two from the overall total. Doesn't really matter. We still have a lot of great action ahead of us.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see now where Jason Dyer's come out. He's come out behind the battling Anthony Washington and Mertlin Cooper, which will not please him too much, because obviously if they're scrapping, they're not really interested in who's behind them.
No,
it's not for, technically for position, so they're under no obligation to get out his way. He's just going to be very careful coming up to them, because there is going to be some light plate pace difference. It's a very competitive grid, but when you put a pro car among the AMs, it's probably noticed.
That's the look from Jason Dyer. He went to pull out from the Porsche of Merlin Cooper, but it took to the braking zone for him to actually make the move stick. So there is pace in that Porsche that for Merlin Cooper. I'm also keeping an eye on this man's incident count. You can guess who I'm referring to.
Is it Dominic Gayderman?
It would be. He's on 16
I will say,
now.
Dominic Gayderman is not the one that needs to be the most careful. That honour goes to Chris Debruchek.
Oh, God,
who's
yeah.
on 19.
19, yes. And very close to the back of Evan Imre's Winter BMW. Wow, Debruchek was very cautious coming into 130R there, and I'm not surprised if he puts one thing wrong. Oh, there he goes. No, we literally were watching him as he did it. He's that was incident number 20. You are gone, sir.
Yeah, we run the incident limit. It's a good way of just naturally policing little misdemeanors.
Natural selection.
I didn't want to go that far. But yeah, over time, over the course of the race, if you cut too many corners or extend your limits beyond the limits too much, you will naturally pick up these points, and it will remove you when you've done too many.
Yep, it is there to try and enforce a much cleaner style of racing, and by and large, I would say very successful. Go on.
Sorry, Adam State and Ronnie Gibbons were side by side through turn 2, so that was hard work there, and this is for class position. This is for second in class right now. Adam State putting a huge amount of pressure on Ronnie Gibbons.
Wow, that was close. I just did a replay of that. Yeah, Adam State giving a statement of intent. How many times have you heard that one, I wonder?
Far too many, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, looking back from Ronnie Gibbons' car, you can just see that looked like a little bit too much curve there, Mr. State. Adam's only got 5 incident points over the race, which is impressive. Ronnie's on 13, so he's going to be a little bit more careful. But still pressing on, keeping that HCR Mayella Corsa BMW behind him, but it's got some work to do. And just saw there's those two Porsches, Marvin Slim and Daniel Page, battling for 13th position.
They've been scrapping for, it feels like weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unbelievable how long that battle's gone on for.
I'll tell you another one that's still going on, but one of those has escaped, and Knut Martinson has run away a little bit from Richard Fletcher and Alexander Godefroy. Yeah. And Richard made a bit of a mistake at the exit of Spoon, and Godefroy gets that position.
Let's have a look.
As a sigh of relief, I'm sure, from Alexander Godefroy.
Oh!
That I can get.
Whoa. That was actually well held by Richard Fletcher. That could have gone quite nasty. But he held that pretty well. And on he goes to try and recover that last time.
Dominic Gayderman out as well on that battle with Michael Delaval and Carlos Villa for 6th place overall.
Now, that's going to be quite nervous for Gayderman, because his incident count is quite high. And they'll know it. It's not an invisible count for them. So they'll know full well that they are running quite close to the win. And it's something we've commented on before, but Mr. Gayderman is a little prone to running high on the incident limit. I'm not sure he'd deny it.
I mean, I will say that those familiar with the iRacing compilation Twitch clips, funny fails, what have you, will know Dominic Gayderman has made an appearance. And it was merely in a stream with Chris Holstein going, okay, no more instant limits. No more incidents, and he immediately hit one. And if there's anyone that used to the pressure of driving for 30+ minutes with very few incidents to spare, it is Dominic Gayderman. And as we've seen, he will not hold back. He will still press the attack and press the try and get the advantage and get those positions, despite the threat of immediate and instant disqualification.
But he's in the pro category for a reason. He is a stunningly quick driver. There was a reason why he started on the front row. It's a shame that, again, it really was just one mistake that dropped him a long way down.
Yeah, and that's what I think everyone's starting to appreciate about this league. It's so competitive that one mistake is all it takes, and you have to be perfect if you want a really, really good result.
Well, it's now half a second up front. It's this time between the two geodesic cars. The BMW still leads the Ferrari. Holstein is still less than a second behind, and StevieSQ is still less than a second behind him. So, go on.
I would say Adam State again looking very close to Ronnie Gibbons coming out of the Casio Triangle. I think Gibbons got it a little bit wrong. He's going to be under a bit of pressure again. We've seen him side by side through turn 1 and 2 before. I would not be surprised if we saw it again. Don't think it's close enough now.
No, it didn't look like Gibbons. He was confident enough not to dive to the inside line to defend that. I noticed.
Oh!
Go on.
Evan Imre has just called it a day, I think. I just saw him in the wall at Dunlop, on the inside.
Quite catastrophically.
I'm willing to suspect he's not going back onto that track.
Well, he ended up on 16 incident points, and I wasn't getting data from him, so I can't replay that, unfortunately.
Oh, no, he clipped the grass on the exit of Dunlop and nosed it into the wall on the hand side.
Oh dear. And there goes another from this race. Unfortunately, as we said at the beginning, it's a difficult track. It's very, very tricky, very easy for a mistake to be punished. And we've commented on the fact that these guys are pushing very hard for a long time. So when they do make a mistake, it tends to be pretty catastrophic.
Absolutely.
Oh, look at this three-way battle. That's Vila, Delaval and Gaydemer in their battle. And we comment on the fact that Gaydemer is running a high instant limit. The two in front of him aren't doing that much better. They're both on 12. So
and they haven't been dicing and diving for overtaking each other either. I think that's just all off track.
Right. So that takes quite some doing.
It does, but they've still got over 30 minutes racing. Just over 16, 17 laps still to go. So they can't be doing that too much more.
What has happened? Oh, what has happened there? Someone's stationary. Oh, Merlin Cooper, that is. Oh, what's happened there? Him and Anthony Washington have come together. So Porsche on the inside of Washington. That's coming into the hairpin. Oh, Washington just turned in like the BMW wasn't there. And then hastily gets out of the way. Oh, and then reverses into one of the Porsches. Oh, that's gone horribly, horribly wrong. And then as he's tried to get going again, he's then spun it into the wall. And that's his day done. He's had enough.
Oh, dear.
Well, sorry, Merlin. We did see that one. he won't be happy that we saw that, I suspect. But I'm afraid we do.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes it's the bits you don't want caught on camera that do.
Well, let's see how our top guys are doing. 30 minutes of racing remain. Gives us around about 16, 17 laps, as Stevie previously mentioned. It is half a second or so between Parkinson, that has led the race from pole, and Claudio Klima. It is 8/10 just under back to the next Ferrari of Christoph Holstein, and then around about a second just shy of to the next BMW of Dan Suzuka. 6.2 seconds down the road is our Pro-Am leader of Kevin Guillou. And then it's the three-way battle we were talking about before, the American of Carlos Vila with Michael Delaval and Dominic Gaydemer in very, very short succession. Michael Dreschler in 9th place. Started 16th, so has had a, well, I would say uneventful, but he's on 12 incident limit, so he has had a few incidents going on. And is Jardier, Mr. Honzik, in 10th position, 5.8 seconds clear of Ronnie Gibbons, who's actually gained another 2 cars on his train. There is Sluman and Page.
And State's going to have a go on him here. Gibbons just dropped the car a little bit on the exit of the Casio Triangle.
Yeah.
Gibbons going defensive. State's going for the move. He's going to try and go around the long way around into turn 1 and 2. It's going to be difficult.
Yeah, Ronnie Gibbons now putting the defensive moves in with less than 30 minutes to go. He's going to hold on to the apex of 2. Oh, but is State going to try and hold on for the inside of the third turn? Ooh, he gets very tight in there. Oh, tiny bit of impact between the two. And that is Adam State up into 11th position. That brings Sluman and Page right in that battle as well. So it's not all over for Ronnie Gibbons just yet. So Adam State's still got to get away from them as yet. So,
yeah, and I've got to say, I was questioning Gibbons' defence earlier on Jason Dyer and Jaroslav Honzik, but that defence of Adam State was wholly fair. He left room where it was deserved, and he knew when he'd lost the position.
And there's Kanu Martinson, who just saw 2.1 seconds behind this pack, so he could well get involved in it before too long. And look what's happened up front. They've condensed again, and they've actually lost Dan Sosowski. They've dropped him by about 6 or so tenths. That's interesting.
I was going to say, he's actually fallen off the lap back a little bit.
That is rare for Dan Sosowski, but now Holstein is starting to get the hammer down and is now 3 tenths off the back of Klima. He's not close enough to attack yet, but I think he's starting to get himself into a position as we start to head towards the closing stages of the race, where he's now going to, he wants to attack that top 3, well, the top 2, can't attack the top 3, he is one of the top 3. It would be bad him attacking himself. Not an ideal racing strategy.
I've heard worse. I've done worse.
I was just about to say, I've probably done worse in my...
Oh, Richard Fletcher and Asger Hemsgaard side by side through 130R. Asger was on the outside there and was not going to be able to make that. It's still side by side though, coming down into the Casio Triangle, and has lost. Richard has lost that position to Asger Hemsgaard. Yeah, sometimes they just randomly click on a driver and realise the biggest fight of... Oh, Adam State has dropped it through turn 2. Turn 1, sorry. That's just undone all his work on Ronnie Gibbons. No. Daniel Page and Marvin Sluman have both got through as well. Oh, Adam's going to ruin himself for that. He's going to be kicking himself, and that's brought Kanu Martinson right in as well.
Oh, what a shame for Adam State. It's a lot of time he's lost there. And now stares at the back of the privateer Porsche of Daniel Page.
And Marvin Sluman immediately pressing the attack on Ronnie Gibbons, the inside into Degner 1. That was smartly backed out of. That was not a really good idea.
Could have gone horribly wrong. Or Delaval on Vila is very close as well, as they've coming through Spoon. That isn't Kevin Gallou. That's a back marker you can see slightly further down the road. And look how early that Carlos Vila stayed to the inside line. He's making a statement, I am going to defend this line. So now we're going to start to see the strategies not so much go out the window, but start to become less of a focus. Now I'm going to start people positioning themselves for the attack. And speaking of, the top 3 has changed again. Holstein's fallen off the back of the geodesic pair, and now Dasasowski's back in the mixture.
Yeah, all it takes is one... Yeah, look at the last lap from Holstein. 56.4 compared to 55.6 from Nathan Parkinson. You know, that's all it takes, one mistake, and it's a lot of work to redo.
Yeah.
I will say, having watched some of these drivers, like I said, I watched some of these streams, there are people sweating at the end of these races.
Oh, Daniel Page just brought his car in.
I was going to say, it's got to be close to pit stop window soon, so Daniel Page, after that being in that fight with Ronnie Gibbons and Marvin Sluman's decided, I think I can go a bit quicker if I get some clear air here.
Yeah. So it's mandatory stop. Is it mandatory stop for this one? I always get confused.
It's not a mandatory stop, but if you make it to the end, well done.
Yeah, it's a case of it's mandatory by design as opposed to by rule.
Yes, yes. If you can make a 0 stop work, go for it. But if we do that, if anyone does that, it's going to be very obvious very early on that that's what they're doing, because they're going to do a lot of lifting and coasting. I mean, in the entire history of this league, it's happened once.
Yes, I remember last time I asked that same point, and that's what you reminded me of, and I'm sure you'll remind me of it again when I forget once again.
That's what I'm here for.
Keeping me on the straight and narrow.
Indeed. Oh, Adam State looking up the inside of Marvin Sluman, who is in turn looking at the inside of Ronnie Gibbons.
I think Adam State was a little bit eager there. I think he missed his breaking point, but that was probably a bit of a clinching moment for Marvin Sluman, having this whacking great big BMW streaming towards him in the braking zone. But the Dos Escarabajos Porsche is doing what he can. I think he's got to push on. He's got to try and force either Gibbons into a mistake or actually just throw the Porsche in and hope it sticks. Oh, Klima was very close to the back of Parkinson for a moment at the last timing check. They were 2/10 apart. I think he's made a mistake somewhere that's going to throw him back into the clutches of Holstein. So that battle still needs to be resolved. Oh, bit of a lock-up from someone there as I cut back to this battle with Gibbons, Sluman, State and Martinson. And Godefroy is...
State's in.
Oh, yep, State is in. So that's another one that... certainly Canoe Martinson doesn't have to deal with, but Sluman, what's he going to do with Gibbons?
Oh, and bad for news for Daniel Page as he came out. Oh, he's battling at least with Richard Fletcher. No, he isn't. He's battling with Josh White. Oh, they must be teammates.
Oh, yeah.
They're either teammates or they're running very similar liveries.
Similar liveries, yeah.
Oh, Daniel up the inside. He's going for it. He doesn't want to hang about. He got it stopped just about. He got a bit of wobbly there. Oh, that didn't look too good.
Oh, that was quite a big clunk from Josh White. Whether that was a netcode issue or whether there was actually impact there, we certainly heard the bang.
Right, where's Adam State then in response? Oh, and Adam is ahead. That has cost. That has certainly cost Daniel Page.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if he's lost one, he's probably going to lose a few more when the rest of them pit.
Who, again, keeping an eye on the leaders. Where are they? Are they going to come in this time? They're coming around through the Casio Triangle once again. 22 minutes of this... try again. 22 minutes of this race remains. No sign of it from our lead quartet yet. They are wanting to press on and get more pressure applied to the one ahead, but you can see that they've condensed up again. So that is just... It's not so much punching, counter punching, it's just waiting for something to happen. It's who's going to blink. That's what it's come down to for our front runners. Good grief!
Would you like to take a break?
I shouldn't need to.
Hey, you've clearly had got something stuck in your mouth there. It was rolling around there for a while. I'm interested to see if Ronnie Gibbons or Marvin Sluman or Canoe Martinson come in now. They've seen two of their battle buddies go in, and none of them do. I can go, like you started to say before, I think I cut you off. Godefroy is slowly reeling that pack in.
Yeah, there he is.
And that is one big group of Pro-Am guys right there.
Now there's second to fifth in the set 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, the second to fifth in the Pro-Am category. So that is all for position. None of them will want to concede. You know,
absolutely.
Sometimes you play the tactical game. That's they're not in my class. There's no point me holding both of us up. That's not going to be on their minds at all.
And I will say there's some big names up front in the Pro-Am standings that are losing out big time. Leader Chris Dobrojek is disqualified. He's getting nothing tonight. Kevin Guillou, he's looking for a big win tonight. But third is Emerick Blom. Where is he? He's running. He is down in 24th.
Yeah,
what I'm seeing him on?
Yeah, I'm seeing. Oh, is that someone that's just flown off the road? Yes,
Josh White.
That's not.
I think he's had an incident with Adam State because Adam is waiting or stopping. Adam is out of the race.
Oh no, he had his own incident. And yes, that's a three-wheel BMW. As Josh White was coming around that first turn, he's crashed into the side of Adam State's BMW and he's lost a rear wheel. So Adam State is out.
Oh no, that's gutting.
And that's how quickly everything can change.
Yep.
Where's Parkinson gone? He's pitted. Nathan Parkinson, race leader, has come in.
Oh, he has. He's called it. He's made the move. And Dan's in as well. Dan's in behind him. It's good stuff from both of them.
Sasulski.
Dan a little bit quicker.
Yeah, Sasulski was much quicker on that one. So, that's where is Klima and Holstein going to filter in. That's Kevin Guillou up to third. Great effort.
Absolutely. And like I said, he's lead Pro-Am and he's second in the Pro-Am standings. He's For a big win tonight.
And he's got plenty in hand as far as the incident limit is concerned. He's only on 4, so he can really afford to press on a bit. I mean, you can incur a lot of penalty points very, very quickly, so you can't just disregard it. But even still, that has been a great effort for Kevin Galoo. I'm keeping an eye on how Claudia Klima and Christoph Holstein are going to do. What are they going to do? They're going to go on again. I reckon they're both going to come in. But
I would suspect that's part of the plan.
big old flash of the lights from Claudia Klima. And Holstein's doing the same.
They're trying to attract attention of the car ahead. It's Sebastian Riethmüller. And just say, please move, please move.
For God's sake, get out of the way. I mean, it's interesting that Holstein was doing it, because Holstein was technically flashing Klima there, so that wouldn't have done him any good. No.
Klima was a little bit wide into Cassius Triangle as well.
I was just thinking, if they're flashing the lights, they're not coming in. So they have opted to carry on. Oh, Gatorman is getting close to Michael DeVore as well. That's about a fourth at the moment.
I'll say Klima is on the radio saying, blue flag, come on, get out of the way. And I think he's got a point at this point. Riethmüller's had plenty of opportunities to let him through. There he goes, he's going to let him through now.
Is that gonna let...
He's let one of them go.
Yeah, and interestingly, Klima's still flashing his lights. So, oh no, that's his brake lights, beg your pardon. I thought he was still flashing his lights for a minute there, and Riethmüller's let Holstein go. I did think for a second that was going to go horribly wrong. Galoo is in. So Kevin Galoo has brought his car in. Michael Dreschler, I think you're in as well, along with Dalaval. So a lot of people coming in now to get their pit stop over and done with. Honzik has brought his limping BMW in as well. Where is Parkinson now back up into 4th? 34 seconds behind our leader of Klima, and it's a 32. So, or he was in the pits for 32.9 seconds. Ooh, this is going to be interesting.
It'll be close. Where's Dan regarding Dan? Oh, Dan looks like he's dropped up. No, he isn't. He's closed up. He's only 1.5 behind Nathan. Oh no, he isn't. The timing's a bit. Yeah, so it's 2.5.
Yeah, I think I think he's fallen a little bit off the back of Parkinson, but Parkinson's got to absolutely floor it.
Yeah, he's got a lot heavier car than these two up front still, so that's going to be, he's got to keep that in mind. Fortunately, it doesn't look like he's had any traffic to deal with, so that's something that's working in his benefit right now.
Oh, Parkinson's in. Holstein, however, chose to continue.
Parkinson's already bet it. You mean Klima?
Klima, beg your pardon. Yeah, one of the geodesic ones. So Klima is in. Now he could technically fight Parkinson. Whilst they are both geodesic, they're not part of the same squad within the geodesic organisation. So he could fight Parkinson. Speaking of, where is he? There he is.
He's coming through 130R now. It's coming up towards the Casio Triangle.
This is going to be so close. He's going to be a couple of seconds in it.
Klima's not moving yet.
He isn't moving yet.
He's moving now.
Is he?
Nathan.
No. There he goes.
That's easy.
Is he?
No.
Oh, it's going to be close. Coming into turn 1. And there goes the BMW.
Closer than I think Nathan would have liked.
Yeah.
This needs to be a mega in-lap from Holstein.
Yeah.
He wants it. He's got an extra 6/10 just to get ahead of Klima. So.
Oh, yeah, I think he's going to fall behind. But it's 33.9 seconds between Parkinson and Holstein. So that's, like we say, now Klima was in the pits for 36 seconds there. So that could be what cost the position. If Holstein has a godlike pit entry, because as I say, Parkinson had 32.9 second pit lane loss. Ooh, that's going to bunch them back up again. Lovely.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, there's also the idea that it depends on the risk you want to take, because Holstein theoretically could underfuel his car to get track position, and then just fuel save.
True.
Track position, we've seen it's difficult to overtake here. Track position could be more important than actually getting the right amount of fuel.
And he comes.
As Holstein comes in.
I bet you Gaidomir follows him as well.
I suspect he will as well. Gaidomir is in his own race right now. He's trying to jump Carlos Vila and Michael Delaval, who has jumped Carlos Vila.
Yep, Gaidomir is indeed in, so he's not in that lead battle at all. So,
no, he's in his own battle. Oh, Klima's so close to Nathan Parkinson. I think if it wasn't for Holstein, they'd be fighting right now.
Could well be.
I think it's that thing through the pit stops. You're aware that there's still more people to go. You don't want to scrap too much because you'll throw it away. Where's Holstein? He's moving.
He's moving. Look back from the Ferrari. Where is the BMW? Oh, there they are. They're going to have him. They're going to have him.
Klima's going to be...
Oh! Now it is do or die. It's going to be qualifying S performances for the next 13 and a quarter minutes. That is unbearably close. 36 seconds. So basically what's won there is Parkinson had a shorter, somehow, pit lane loss. Oh, it does on my screen.
For me, it says through the lane. Nathan was 37.1, Klima 36.6, Holstein 36.0. What I will say is in the stops themselves, Nathan Parkinson 11.9, Klima 11.3, Dan Sasulski 11.4, Chris Holstein 9.5.
Or 9.1 on my screen, but either or.
That's still 2 seconds less.
That's a lot of time, and I think you've called it. I think he's gone for less fuel. Now Holstein's been in slipstream all race long. If he has underfueled, he needs to clear both of them, and he's got to do it now. He can't afford to be behind them for too long, unless he's thinking of fuel saving now behind them to push later on. But surely that's too big a risk.
I can't get inside the mind of him. I don't know. I mean, this is terrifying for me. This is the most stressful possible situation. I will say, just to update on some other battles that were going up and down the grid, that strategy for Gaidomir worked a treat. Yeah, he is over a second clear of Michael Delaval, so that three-way scrap that we had for such a long time has completely turned on its head. And Carlos Vila is down in 9th place now, but Godefroy and... is Knut posted? Yes, Knut has pit. But Godefroy is still to pit. So he's going to get, and there he goes. So that's another position for Gaidomir. So Gaidomir back up into the top 6. It's top 3 though, covered by less than a second.
That's unbelievably close.
And I suspect Dan Sasulski is pushing like hell to get back into that.
Yeah, I can believe it. Oh, we've had another disqualification. Aymeric Blom's gone.
He has indeed.
Yeah.
That is.
Ooh, Scott McCracken's on 19, James Smith's on 18. So some of our privateers or AM drivers are going to be a bit careful on how they proceed. It's weird thinking that Dominic Gaidomir is not the highest one on the incident count. That sounds highly disrespectful, and I honestly don't mean it to sound so. Oh, wow, Dan Sasulski. That was very lively on the exit of the second deck there. But
he's pushed it.
Oh yeah, he's pushed it hard. But it's just a case of if Gaidomir just has a reputation of running high in the incident count.
But he's done what he's done is he's worked it a treat. He's used the pit stops to his advantage, so he didn't need to needlessly battle them side by side, risking anything like that. Now he's got 2 more positions. He's only got 5-second gap. Kevin, to you. And let's just lap for Dominic Gaidomir.
Actually, Galouz had a quicker fastest lap than Gaidomir, and actually he's had a quicker fastest lap than Sasulski and Christoph Holstein and Nathan Parkinson.
Maybe Kevin's in the wrong class.
Well, I mean, it's more down to consistency than single.
It is, and this is the thing with Pro-Am, is it? With the competitive of this field, it might just be that sometimes they're going to have a really, really strong round.
Oh, look how defensive Parkinson is. He is nailed to that inside line. He did not want to let Klima go. They may be part of the geodesic squad, but he's not willing to let him go. So that is going to slow them down, and that is really going to make this four-way battle. Sasulski's well in there. Oh,
yes. We have a fight on for the lead, right, for the podium.
All spots. So it's going to be a case of who doesn't want to be off the podium. That is going to be what this battle comes down to. As Sosowski is starting to shape up Holstein, he's starting to get... he's bided his time until now. He has looked like he's struggled up until this point, but has he just been biding his time? Now is the time he's going to nail his foot to the firewall. Is he going to force his way past Holstein? It's just...
I will say both Dan and Chris were all over the curbs through the Dagners. Oh, Nathan defensive into the hairpin. I think he knows Kleeman is going to press the attack, and let's just make a blanket apology to the rest of the field right now.
Yeah, we may not look at you for a while.
No, we know Kevin Gu's got a pretty strong Pro-Am lead, and I just checked on Gonzalo Fotos, who still leads the AM class by a good distance as well, so he's not under any immediate pressure, but overall race win right now is heating up nicely, and still 8 minutes to go.
I want the blimp cam, but unfortunately the blimp's in the wrong place. So
it does tend to move.
He wanders around. Oh, look at Klima! Oh, I thought he was going to go for an inside on 130R there, but he made himself very visible. Oh, he is attacking at Parkinson with everything he's got. Look how defensive Parkinson went. He was determined to hang on to that. Oh, and I think Klima had to get out of that. He was trying to bounce over the apex, coming through the Cassia triangle. And once again, Parkinson's going to hog that inside line along the start-finish straight. It is the same gap, Parkinson to Klima, as it is Klima to Holstein. Both of them 0.2 of a second. What's going to happen here? Oh, look how close it is. Sosowski a little bit off the back of it. It's about 0.7 between Sosowski and Holstein. So he may genuinely be struggling to keep up with this pack. But, oh, just anything can happen. This is brilliant stuff.
It is, and this is why we love this league. It is ultra competitive, and no disrespect from last season to Aeronom, who crushed many of the races. It's very nice to come into a race having no idea who's going to win it. You know, Nathan Poxon's not been on the podium this season so far.
He's looking in strong form for that.
He is, and he's led this pack the entire way through. He's gonna want to be the one that stands on the top step.
Oh, I think Holstein had to take a bit of a slightly different line there. I don't think Klima got the line he was aiming for into that hairpin. That forced Holstein into a slightly different line, and that's given Parkinson 0.7. We're actually coming almost directly underneath the blimp now, so I'm able to use the blimp camera. Now through Spoon, but we've seen how quickly 0.7 of a gap can just disappear. That's the thing.
Oh, easily, and Klima is coming under more pressure now from Holstein.
Yeah, that's going to give Parkinson an opportunity to try and stretch his legs. We have got 5 laps to go. We're coming to the end of lap 38. Through Spoon. Oh, Holstein getting a little bit fidgety as he hit that rumble strip, and there goes that gap. It's already under ½ a second, but I bet you anything Parkinson nails himself to that inside line again. Oh, is he going to stay in the slipstream? Oh, that must be Scott McCracken, is it? Nope, that's not Scott McCracken at all. Don't know which Porsche that is. No, there it is. I think that might be the one that we saw involved in... Oh, who was it that reversed into a Porsche? I've forgotten now.
I've no idea. I can't remember.
Wow, that was close. That is... a long way through the field. Jeremy Hoppe.
Yeah, Hoppe, smart there to just let them all go in one go.
Yeah.
You do not want to be the driver that... Oh, look at Dan Sosowski! Huge amount of pressure trying to go up the inside there through the S-curves. I don't think that was generally trying to make the move, but it was just trying to put more pressure on Chris Holstein. That would have woken Holstein up. Dan's kind of been a little bit... I don't want to say lost in this race, but he's certainly been not the centre of attention. Oh, Holstein!
What on earth happened there?
Dagner!
Well, I know that, but what as opposed to where?
Oh,
the tail let go! The tail just completely let go on him after Dagner won.
And he still scrapped it out. He still fought against Dan for that. But that has cost them both a lot of time. They are now both 2 seconds off the back of the lead pack. It's looking great for Alpine Styles Geodetic Racing of various teams.
Of that organisation, if different divisions within. the Geodesic Racing Black. Car number 155, Nathan Parkinson leads by 7 and a bit tenths over Claudio Klima.
You know, the thing is with Dan and Holstein having that little scrap, that split them up. Now that's almost given Klima even more of a reason to fight now without having that immediate pressure behind.
Yeah, absolutely. But we'll see what transpires. Now, if Dan has been struggling for pace, it should, in theory, be an opportunity for Holstein to attack him, but he's not close enough this time, unless it is the biggest dive bomb in the world into turn 1. He has a look, but I think that's nothing more than just showing the nose to the BMW. 3 laps remain here at Suzuka. What has been a fascinating race, particularly for our top 4. But you've got to think, if someone like Holstein can make that mistake, then anybody can. What's just happened to Asker Hebsgaard? Nothing's happened to Asker Hebsgaard. He's on 19 incidents, though. I think he's been there for a while. Carlos Vida's on 18, Gaidemir and Jaroslav Honzig on 17 apiece. So still people staring at that incident limit, hoping it doesn't increase any.
And I would like to point out, and just take this opportunity to say, through all of that fight, it is Alexander Godefroy that is potentially picking up 2nd in class. What a typically Godefroy situation. He was so far behind that pack of cars, and he has managed to jump pretty much all of them. Wow,
he's still got Knut Martinsen and Daniel Page for company, so he's not all resolved yet. Jumping back up to the front, though, it's nearly a second between Parkinson and Klima, so Nathan Parkinson is not resting on his laurels at all. He is pressing on with everything he's got left in that car, as we are under 2.5 minutes from the checkered flag falling. There is 2.5 seconds between Sasolski and Klima. That's what it looks like visually on track. Is Holstein going to stay in that position? Is he resolute to that 4th place, or is he going to attack? I suspect he's going to attack if he gets the chance to, I would think. He has got damage on that front right. When did he do that? Must have been there.
Who did that? What?
Has he got damage on the front right, is Mr. Holstein, or is that the... He's got damage on the front right.
Might be from where he clobbered the curb, to be fair.
Okay.
I don't think he hit anything physically, but I think he would have taken a lot of pain going over that curb as he did. I will say, we need to keep an eye on the time. They crossed the line, and it was on the cusp. So this may be the final lap. It may be one more lap after this.
We're watching you. We're watching you.
Yeah, I made a point to keep an eye on it. And concerning.
Yes, but Parkinson still leads the way, and that gap is not shrinking. Actually, Holstein is falling off the back of Sasolski. That damage is hurting that Ferrari. I think he'll be forced into resigning into that particular spot. That's actually Kevin Galoo. He's only 2.7 behind. If Holstein makes another mistake, you could well see Galoo beat Christoph Holstein. Well, I mean, that would be incredible.
I think that's that would be remarkable, quite frankly.
Absolutely.
Oh man. We do have a couple of... Oh my god, wait, is that right?
Go on.
Gonzaga Furtos up to 16th place right now for the lead and car, so he's doing amazing right now.
He's only 1.5 off the back of that.
We've lost some drivers to the incident limit. That's why Ronnie Gibbons, Michael Delaval.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Philippe Gaillard's very close. Hoppe's close. Jamie Smith's close. Scott McCracken's close.
Yeah, there are a scary number of people that are pushing their luck somewhat. Here comes Parkinson. Does he beat the flag? He's so close.
He does.
He has. The flag comes out now. That's how close he was. But he couldn't have backed off because Klima is only 1.3 behind him. It does look like Klima is settling for second.
I will say something came. Nathan said something over the radio. I don't know what he said, but he said something over the radio. I don't know whether he was saying, "Oh, we'll call it," or something like that. But yeah, it certainly looks like Klima has stopped the attack for now, at least. Could
well be. I think that four-way battle that was set to go onto the line has now dispersed somewhat because they're about 1.5 to 2 seconds apart. But what an amazing performance from Nathan Parkinson.
Yeah, absolute untouchable. Right? He's come under pressure the whole way and he's had to really work for it. But he has not put a foot wrong all evening.
Nope, certainly not. I think it would be fair that he would be one of the candidates for driver of the day, along with, I must say, that man, Kevin Gillou, starting in 13th with only 5 incidents on the board and is only 1.9 behind, okay, wounded, but still only 1.9 behind Christoph Holstein. That's an incredible performance.
Absolutely.
Here he comes then, coming into 130R for the final time. He's not under any direct pressure, he just has to bring it home. He's got a supporter ahead of him, can't tell who that is, possibly Foku.
It is Foku, well done.
Yeah, Flavian Foku. So, through the Casio triangle for the final time. Your winner here at Suzuka is the Geodesic Racing Black. Car number 155 of Nathan Parkinson. Klemer comes home second. Sosowski 3. Holstein, who I think will be disappointed with that 4th, but Kevin Gillou comes home in 5th position to win the Pro-Am category. Nicely done. Gadamer, fair recovery for him to come through into 6th place. Vida in 7th. Honzik, quite some way, he was nearly 30 seconds behind Carlos Vida. He's going to come home. That's the 7th, but it's actually going to be 8th, I think. As my overlay says, I've got 2 people in 7th place. But yeah, it's not
nice to do that.
Not a bad effort for his first go.
No, certainly not. He's done very well. It's a very competitive field, and he had damage from a very long, from very early in the race as well.
Asger Hebsgaard only just made it over. He stayed on 19.
And Asger Hebsgaard had that qualifying ban, remember? So he's come from a 46th place
to 13th.
Yeah, there's a reason he's in the pro class.
Oh, what might have been, but a great effort nonetheless.
I will say another good result today was Daniel Page, another debut from 18th up to 12th. Not too shabby at all.
No, certainly not. Who's the last? It's Foku. Where's Foku? I think Foku's the last one on the lead lap, because we saw he was being chased by the by the leaders. There he is for the VEC Sim Racing Bordeaux squad in the 216 Porsche. And come across the line in, I think, 17th position. Everyone else has already crossed the line. And there he goes. So let's confirm where everybody has finished. There it is. Nathan Parkinson is your race winner, with the following of Klemer, Sosowski, Holstein, Gillou, Gaymeyer, Vida, Honzik, Drescher, Godefroy, Martinson, Page, Hebsgaard, Dyer, Sluman, Dove, Furtos, Service, Moraine, Fletcher, Reithmiller, Hitchcock, Foku, McCracken, Washington, Yardley, Smith, Hoppe, Gaillard, and those that didn't see the flag were Dalaval, Gibbons, Blom, White, State, Cooper, Imre, De Bruychek, Towns, Zelenika, Bell, Kamke, Linholt, Martins, Caroni, Reed, Williamson, Howson, Shepherd, and Miles. A lot of people that didn't make the flag.
Yeah, this was a pretty incident-heavy race compared to normal. Hopefully it will calm down a little in future races, but this track is a bit of a challenge. It always will be, and I think that's why it holds a lot of respect for a lot of the drivers. It's always fun to watch. So hopefully I suspect we'll have a few stewards inquiries, but hopefully we'll be back next week with a few less.
Who wants to have a chat to us?
Chris Holstein.
Oh yes, most certainly. Mr. Holstein, welcome to the box, sir.
Hello, everyone.
Well, that was very...
Mr. Holstein.
That was
oh my god, you're very low, Stevie. Wait a second.
I think you pose the questions to him, and if he doesn't reply,
I can hear you better now. It's fine.
Well, that was a interesting race for you, I think it's fair to say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, it was very hard until I made that silly mistake at Dagenawar.
Oh yeah, that definitely. Like it was in general very, very hard to keep the tires in check.
Nope, Chris, you missed your chance.
Well, one question I do have for you, Christian, is how hard. What I was trying to gauge for obviously for most of the strategic element of the race, of course, you were just following Nathan in line. Were you really pressing hard to keep up with him, or were you biding your time?
I was really buying my time. The problem was I overshot my pit box. That was the problem.
Pushing hard one. As you saw from the mistake, you don't make mistakes when you're cruising.
Well,
so, you only make mistakes when you're on the limit.
That's
so
not really
always a case of the whole race I was pushing very hard and I messed it up.
Alright.
Like I have forgotten how to unmute myself and answer questions that are put to you in the combat box.
He is answering, Stevie.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. I was distracted.
Yes, he has been trying to answer that whole time.
I'm very sorry. I was unaware, see?
Okay.
Silly me.
Right. Can I talk now?
Oh, I'll tell you why I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I for some reason had Chris muted.
Well, that'll do it, Stevie.
And I thought he was muted for both of us, and that wasn't the case, so I am really sorry.
I'm not sure if this is serious or not, but...
Genuinely true, you were muted to me on Discord, and I just right-clicked on your name and the mute box is ticked. So, whatever we last talked about, you clearly annoyed me enough.
I was about to say, you. Whatever did you do?
Wait, what? Why did you...
I'm very sorry. From my point of view, you were saying nothing, so I just talked over you like you weren't even here. I am deeply sorry. I'm going to commentatorly hang my head and shave.
Okay.
Well, enjoy listening back to that one, Stevie.
I'm not listening back to it. That's too embarrassing.
To answer the question, obviously very, very tough race. I think the tires were really, really bad, really, really crucial to manage, and I think my setup was really, really oversteery at times, and I think I had my chances to get up into the lead, not necessarily like during the stint, because I was not really, didn't want to, try everything on Nathan, but unfortunately I missed my pit box. So I had to reverse, and so my fuel strategy did not work, unfortunately. And then obviously that mistake after that as well happened, but yeah, my chance was definitely the pit stop, and I knew it, and I blew it. So that's that. But that happens. Sometimes you're faultless in 1 week, like last week, and sometimes you make those tiny mistakes which cost you a bit of positions. But yeah, and with that regard though, Nathan, Claudio, and Dan all drove a very, very good race. Pace was so similar once again, I guess, between all of us. So yeah, it should be a good fight for next year's races as well.
Well, good luck for the remainder of the season, Christoph. It's been a great pleasure to commentate on your battles up front, and I look forward to doing the same again.
And thanks for commentating, obviously, as per usual.
I'm so sorry.
You don't need to be. It's fine.
Oh dear.
Alright, see you next week, guys.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
See you then. Anyone else?
We have one more. We have Saradov.
Saradov. There she is. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
How did you get on this evening? I apologise in advance. We really didn't see a lot of you this time around, but how did you get on?
Well, there's a saying some people have: the dizzying heights and the crushing lows. So,
in which are you placed this time?
Definitely the second one.
Oh dear.
I don't think I've ever been as uncomfortable with the car as I was in the race just then. I couldn't push because I'd spin, and I spun twice, and then yeah.
Oh dear. So not a track that best suited you this evening then.
Usually it's pretty good. I just don't think I had a stable setup. I think the setup was fast but not stable. So I kind of had to constantly focus on not spinning because it was really, really unstable.
Oh dear. So is there anywhere that you're looking forward to racing as the season progresses?
Next week should be good, hopefully. That's Watkins Glen, I think. Yeah, that's a good track for me, and it's pretty. I'm pretty confident with it. I just didn't really have the best race, and hopefully the drop weeks will save me.
I'm sure that is the case. We look forward to seeing you on track next time.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else?
No.
I think now's a good time as any to wrap it up. Thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout the stream. A great pleasure to have you alongside us. Thank you very much, Stevie, for keeping me on the straight and narrow. A great pleasure as always, sir.
You are most welcome. It's always fun to sit over these races and talk over them with you. I can get my words out. Deep apologies to the incident with Chris Holstein there. I genuinely could not hear him, and I thought I was just being funny, talking over it, but I didn't realise you could hear him. So big apologies. I'll try and not do that again. Coming up on the iRacing broadcast in the upcoming week, on Friday, you have round 5 of the Formula 3 League at Circuit of the Americas. On Saturday, there is round 3 of the Endurance League with Hussey and Simon commentating, and they are there for 3 hours of Watkins Glen with LMP1 and GTE cars. And then on Monday, we have this round 5 of this, which is 1 hour and 20 minutes of Watkins Glen. And I can't wait because both the Endurance League and this are running Watkins Glen without the chicane on the main straight. So it's going to be NASCAR basically.
Awesome.
I can't wait.
Plenty of other racing going on between then and now, so do check back with us for more AOR action. Thank you very much, and we'll see you then. Good night.